Hello, dear friends, and welcome to the International Fab Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Thank you for connecting with us. As we know, we are all the common people and we love to bond with each other, spread love across the world, and make the world a beautiful place. Stop the war, stop the crime, and spread peace. Friends, we today have our special celebrity joining us from Kolkata. She is MS.MOLLY Thambi, the Deputy Director of Lifeline Foundation, a person who wants to give her best and to prevent the number of suicides that are taking place across India. Dear friends, let's invite our special celebrity today. Join me and let's welcome our special friend. Hello, ma'am, and welcome to the session.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you for accepting the invite to the International Fab Talks. Thank you, dear.
My pleasure.
Yes, dear. Thank you very much. Dear ma'am, with your permission, shall I go ahead and introduce you in an official way now?
Yes.
Yes, dear. Dear friends, it's our duty and a honor to introduce our special guest. You have to know as to what she specializes in and how you could benefit if you ever come in contact with this special personality, as to where are her expertise lying in, where are her energies focused to. She is Molly Thambi, the Deputy Director of Lifeline Foundation, as I mentioned at the start, an NGO that has been working in the field of mental health, wanting to create mental health awareness and prevention of suicides. There are several cases where many of the people across the world who have thought of ending their lives. And yes, we have an angel here who's here to save those people who think that, yes, they should end their lives. And then she will transform your thought process. And she's been into this for the past, not 1 or 2 years, 27 plus years. And this is in Kolkata. Apart from that, Lifeline is a voluntary organization fully run by volunteers dedicated to the cause of suicide prevention. And I love this. Several times, including me, at one point of time, we might have felt, what a life this is. Why do we live? We don't need this life. But then, yes, there are people out there. They are called angels without wings on earth, who are doing their best to stop people from taking that negative step of ending their lives. Ms. Molly Thambi has been volunteering with Lifeline Foundation for almost 15 years. Over the past 2 decades, as Honorary Joint Secretary, she has been providing management support to Antara, A-N-T-A-R-A, Psychiatric Hospital and Deaddiction Center as well, a 200-bed hospital near Baruipur, if I'm getting that right, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, Baruipur, I think, Kolkata.
Get that Baruipur, it's near Kolkata. Yes.
Thank you, dear. She currently spearheads the educational vertical at Antara Psychiatric Hospital. She also practices as a consultant psychologist and stress management specialist. Actually, here is her expertise, a consultant psychologist and stress management specialist. When you're stressed out, you want to end your life. Most of us, all of us, at one point of time, it might have come to our brain that, yes, this life is just of no use. But when you have a stress management specialist across you or, within your reach, you're going to win in life. And she focuses her energies on being one of the best stress management specialists, my dear friends. Apart from that, she has a PG Diploma in Counselling and Stress Management from Jadavpur University and a master's in clinical psychology. Her journey as a mental health professional is the second phase of her career. Her journey as a mental health professional is the second phase of her career. What a beautiful way to continue that beautiful journey of wanting to give more and more to the society. In the first phase, she was a finance professional for over 20 years with a master's in economics and MBA finance from IIM Calcutta. She held various senior positions in organizations like National Stock Exchange, Stock Holding Corporation of India, HSBC, etc. Her last corporate role was MD and CEO of Kolkata Stock Exchange. Ms. Thambi has been involved in gatekeeper training for suicide prevention for senior officers in police, paramilitary forces, and correctional homes, and as well as various initiatives in schools, colleges, and many other institutions. Currently, she is also working with Queen of the Mission School, Kolkata, as a psychologist. She is passionate about creating awareness about mental health, well-being, emotional well-being, intellectual well-being for the youth, and with a special emphasis on de-addiction. And that is where, most of our youth are getting destroyed, falling into traps of drug and alcohol. So let's get to know about our guest more directly from her. Join me, my friends. Ma'am, we are really happy that you have spent, your time and energy over all these years wanting to bring back a balance in the society. And thank you today for sharing the space on the International Fab Talks.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, dear. Dear ma'am, it really makes me wonder. Most of the people really don't care about what's happening if somebody's like on the road fallen down, or somebody's died in our neighborhood. We just don't care. We just stand, have a look, and come back. But you have taken that leap forward. And yes, I have to do something. I have to help people with the stress management. I have to help people with creating mental health awareness. All of this really says that you are a wonderful human being wanting to give back much to the society. Thank you for that. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, we come back now. How would you define yourself? Who is the real Miss Molly?
Every person, Andrea, is, it's very difficult to define ourselves in a couple of lines, but I could certainly kind of say that I was an out and out finance professional for the first 20 years of my career. And at some point of time when I had to halt my career for personal reasons, it took me a few years to find my calling, like they say. And I realized that if I can't be useful to myself, at least let me be useful to others. And I had been volunteering in suicide prevention or with Lifeline Foundation for a long time. And finally, that kind of my hobby became my passion. And it kind of, overcame me. So I would define myself with somebody who's got a lot of empathy, who loves to get things done, who I love challenges. And I need a goal, a purpose, and making a difference to the world, to other people, both to myself as well as to other people, is, of course, one of the cornerstones of my life.
Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, I really love people who help other people to, think twice before ending their life. Because that one moment could really save a life. And that life which is saved could save other lives as well. So that's really very nice. Who inspired you to enter into this field, from finance into this beautiful field? How did you get this?
Even while I was working, I mean, of course, I had a really stressful job, etc. And I have a friend who started this organization called Lifeline Foundation. She is Suksham Singh, and I met her, somewhere, and she spoke to me about this organization. And I was quite fascinated as to why do people end their lives. I mean, those were the days when I really knew nothing about such stuff. My head was full of numbers and balance sheets and everything else. So, but she inspired me. She's the director of this organization, and I kept wondering what is the makes people here to listen to others' stories of sadness and wanting to end their lives and despair. What is it? So basically, what Lifeline does is we run crisis telehelplines, free and confidential crisis telehelplines to try and provide emotional support to callers who may be depressed, distressed, or suicidal. Everybody doesn't need to feel suicidal. There may be suicidal people, there may not be. So just because you're not suicidal does not mean that somebody is not distressed or going through a lot of, trouble in their lives and when they don't know where to turn. Most often, people don't have anyone to speak to in confidence. People are so afraid of being judged. You have no one to I really have nobody to share your distress with, and you think, oh my god, what will they think of me if I say this and if I say that, etc. So Lifeline is based on the premise that if there's somebody to speak to, a person who's at the point of wanting to take his own life or his or her own life, will not do so, or will at least try to live another day and look for other options. So, so this whole thing kind of really fascinated me, and I started volunteering. So those days I was working full time. So I used to do Sundays. I mean, every volunteer gets 4 hours of their time to man the crisis line. So I used to do Sundays. And then later, when I quit my job, I kind of got more and more involved. And, I grew Lifeline to, being 10 to 10. So we work from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. are, the helplines are on, and we grew Lifeline to include a whole lot of other things. So it was just completely fascinating as to why would somebody end their lives, and how do we save them? So this is a question that we get asked all the time. So yes, there is a method, there is a protocol. We're all trained volunteers. We do not call ourselves counselors at Lifeline. We call ourselves volunteers. You could say that we are trained listeners.
Perfect, ma'am. Trained listeners. I love that.
Yes, yes,
That's really
yes.
nice. Thank you for sharing, dear. Thank you very much. Dear ma'am, how were you as a little kid? Were you the naughty one, or the mischievous one, talkative one, the shy one?
I was a perfect nerd, if you could call it. Extremely serious, not very talkative, always stood first in class, had to study. I mean, very competitive, very ambitious, and certainly no way naughty. I mean, a perfect good girl I was.
Yes,
To
dear.
read a lot, yeah.
Yes, I just remember all of those students who used to stand first in my class. I was somewhere in the middle, not first, not last, somewhere in the middle. I used to bounce and would be there. Now, I would like to ask you, like, is there any incident that you remember from your school life or at home, maybe? Any incident that is so fresh in your mind, that a funny incident
Oh,
maybe, or anything?
funny, I don't know, but I do remember. See, we lived in Mount Abu. I grew up in Mount Abu, Rajasthan. It's a very beautiful place, and we lived on top of a hill, in a cottage on top of a hill, and we had this huge garden, and we had lots of fruit trees, and my father was an avid gardener, so we used to help him. So we had fruit trees and flowering trees and every possible plant and tree that was there, and we grew up playing, learning to climb trees and learning to climb rocks. So we had a quite and of course we lived quite on the edge of the forest, so my father used to take us. Nowadays it's not considered appropriate to say, but we used to go hunting, and we used to take walks in the forests, and we had leopards and bears and stuff like that. So I grew up in the middle of nature, and it was amazing. And in fact, 40 years later, I recently went back, 40, maybe not even 40, maybe 50 years almost later. I recently went back to Mount Abu, and we went and saw the place where we lived. In fact, most of the trees that my dad had planted were still there. The rocks were there, the trees were there. So it just, the trees and the rocks didn't look as big as they did when we were kids. But it was an amazing experience to really go there and relive all those childhood haunts of places. And it was very nice.
Yes, dear ma'am. Dear ma'am, now you are dealing with people who need help, who are facing a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of negative energy. And sometimes that, flows over us sometimes. So how do you manage the challenges that you face from all of this, the work atmosphere?
Yes, I agree. What I do now is mental health, mental illness, suicide, etc., etc. So that's quite overwhelming in many ways. But we are trained professionals, Andrea. So we are taught. Uh, I'm not saying that it does not affect us or that these cases do not kind of stay on, but we are trained, especially at Lifeline. We deal with a lot more crisis calls, you know. So because we're trained, we have a system of debriefing, we have a buddy system, we have mentors. So we make sure that, you know, it is, you know, that we debrief, and we, how do I say, we don't take it home, or we do not. So we normally take calls in a closed room. So we try not to take it out of the room. Some calls, some incidents do stay on, but because we're trained to handle it. And if we ourselves are going through a crisis, we do not take calls, and we do not, I mean, you know, kind of, we do not allow ourselves to be vulnerable to that extent.
Perfect, ma'am. Very true. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Is there any book, ma'am, if one reads this book, one could really control their thoughts, their views? It would help them in their life. Is there any book like that, or any of your favorite books which you love? Would you like to share one?
You know, my books are kind of, you know, at different points of time, they're kind of different favorites. When I was a kid, maybe Ayn Rand and so on, and then as I grew. So nowadays, a lot of the books that I do read is more related to my field, to psychology, or to mental health, etc. In fact, I am kind of working on, I'm like I mentioned in my, you mentioned in the introduction, I mean, de-addiction is a passion of mine now, because I see young children, youngsters, the youth, you know, really terribly affected. And it is so sad to see so much of potential which is wasted. So a book that I have read recently, which has kind of fresh my mind, is it's called The Dopamine Nation, by a psychiatrist called Dr. Anna Lemke. So she talks about, you know, this whole the you know, about being consuming pleasure, too much of pleasure being consumed. We are a consuming nation, and as a result, we all get addicted to dopamine. And dopamine is the neurotransmitter, or the hormone that we get when, you know, short-term pleasure like food or sex or the phone or entertainment, etc. So we get pleasure out of it. So too much of it actually, you know, meddles with the brain, and you are not able to focus or be productive if you are continuously in the search of dopamine. So this is one book that has kind of stayed with me. And well, there are lots of other books, but this is something which is like top of mind right now. I have been influenced to quite an extent by Jordan Peterson and Dr. Huberman, etc., and a whole lot of others.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing.
There is this one book called oh well, right now I can't remember. I can't remember the title of the book, so no point saying it. So,
yes. When you remember it, do let us know.
Yeah, I will.
Dear ma'am, I just have a question in my mind. I've seen so many people losing their families because they have consumed a lot of alcohol, and alcohol is a disease and it affects the entire family. One person consumes, the entire family is disturbed. So is there really a way that people could leave this habit of consuming alcohol and come out of it? Is there any hope?
Yes, of course. If you want, you can. With your family's help and support and proper treatment, you can come out of it. And there are people, see, it's like this, that the temptation to go back is there all the time. So we have organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous and various other which follows a methodology for de-addiction. There is psychiatric treatment, there are drugs available. If a person wants, it's a disease like anything else. If you get cancer, won't your whole family rally behind you and give you the support? So the same way, if family, friends, and everybody else rallies behind, and the person really wants, yes, you can recover from alcohol. But again, if you chase dopamine, then it's very difficult. So it has to come from within. It has to come from within. And it's not willpower, Andrea. If anybody thinks that it's willpower and you can kind of not become an alcoholic, no, it doesn't work like that. You need proper treatment. Yes. Psychiatric, psychological, social, family, from all aspects.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your expertise on that, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dear ma'am, how would you want to be remembered in this world? And why should people remember Miss Molly?
Now that I don't work full time, my friends say that they are the biggest beneficiaries of my time and that I have time for them. Earlier, when I was in a corporate job, I had no time for anyone. I couldn't, my social life was a mess and people were just always calling me names and stuff like that. But yeah, my friends say that they are the biggest beneficiaries. So remembered, well, I'm sure I've touched so many lives in so many ways. I've been there for so many people. So I'm sure they'll all remember me for what kind of for standing by them. I mean, I really haven't thought of it that way, Andrea. For me, doing something.
Ma'am, I guess there is slight technical issue, ma'am. We are unable to hear you.
If we, let's say if that person is helped, if that.
Yes, dear.
Yeah, Andrea, you asked me how would I like to be remembered in this world. I don't know, I've never really thought of it, but I do know that I've touched enough lives and been there for enough people for people to remember me when I'm gone. I don't think it really matters. I think what you do or the difference that you make, known and unknown to other people, that is what matters. Being remembered is, I think it's very, doesn't really matter.
Yes, dear ma'am. Thank you for sharing, dear. Thank you very much. Dear ma'am, what is that one thing you love about yourself? I am Molly. I love myself because this is my inner core quality. And I go by this rule. I live by this. And I respect myself because I am this.
Oh, okay. I'm an extremely hardworking person, Andrea. I'm like super hardworking and quite tenacious. My friends say that I'm very tenacious, and I claim to have been born with a double dose of empathy. So my ability to empathize and be there for other people and help other people, I think that is something that I really go by.
Thank you, ma'am. And you said this, a double dose of empathy, right?
Yes.
And if you're too empathetic too, ma'am, people take advantage of us. Have you not faced that, ma'am?
You know, this is very it's this is empathy is a double-edged sword, Andrea. When you So what if somebody takes advantage? That's okay. You've got the empathy, you're doing good for someone, and if they take advantage, as long as you are not victimized for it, and if you take care of yourself, it's all right. It's there, so it's okay. And just because someone will take advantage of it, us withholding empathy, is that right? It's not everyone who's born with empathy. It is not everybody who has empathy. So if God has given me the ability to help people and I do not do it, then am I not insulting the ability that God has given me?
Yes, ma'am, I get you right now. Yes, dear. But there is a fear, like, yeah, I'm being good to so many people, and many of them have only taken advantage of my time, my energy. And when they needed me, they have used me like for their purpose. It could be in any way, the financial aspect, my moral support, my time. And then when they don't need me, then I'm out of the picture.
Yes, that is always there. It is always there. That's the way of the world, right? The self-preservation instinct is very inherent to human beings. And once, like what we say, if my work is done, then I don't need the other person. They'll come back when they need you. If they don't, then it's okay, you've done your job. And I certainly believe in the Sanskrit saying, we are Indian ethos, karmanne vatikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, right? So you do your job because God gave you the ability to do it. I don't think, the rest is their karma.
Yes, dear. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing it so well. Thank you. Dear ma'am, what about holidays? Now, being busy, you were initially very busy with the corporate world and you were taking care of the finances and with numbers and all of that. Now you are into this beautiful stream of creating mental health awareness and prevention of suicides, a stress management specialist. Do you ever get time for yourself to go on a vacation? If yes, when and where have you been? And if no, where would you love to go?
Ah, in my corporate career, no, I really didn't get much time to take holidays as such because my husband's job and my job, we used to be free at different times. So when I would be free, he would be busy and so on and so forth. But yes, a lot of my holidays or so-called time off has been to, I hail from Kerala and I belong to a large family. I have 56 cousins. So, we go to Kerala and spend time with them. And, so that kind of is a big de-stressing factor for me. I go for all the weddings and I enjoy being there, being with my cousins. So a lot of the traveling is there. But yes, when I did quit my job and I decided that I'm not going to take up a corporate career anymore, I took a whole, I think, almost 2 years off, and I did travel around a little bit at that time. Where I went hiking and trekking, and we trekked around in Sikkim and in West Bengal, and I went to Ladakh. I loved Ladakh, and then we drove around, took a couple of driving holidays around in India and a couple of places abroad. So I went to Germany. I stayed with a friend of mine for about 3 weeks and did nothing. I was lying on the lawn and just kind of chilling out. So we did that. And so those kind of stuff,
Yes.
whatever, but not too much. No, not too much.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. Ma'am, do you believe in lotteries? Yes or no?
Being a finance person, a lottery is just a mathematical probability. So, I mean, yeah, why not? But I wouldn't go and take a lottery ticket. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm too level-headed for that. So,
Yes.
I don't believe in. I believe in working hard for what I want and not, cutting lottery tickets. Let's put it that way.
Yes,
So,
dear. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. What if you win a lottery by chance, by luck? Yes, from out of the blue. Yes, you won a big jackpot. How are you going to use that money?
ah, oh, that's very, very clear. Okay. I will use at least, I will put at least 10 girls through nursing school.
Wow.
That's for sure. Okay. I already do that with the money that I earn from my counseling and whatever. I put a very, very poor girl through nursing school. Her parents are both illiterate and they work, her mother works in, people's homes. Her father kind of is a maintenance person and completely illiterate. But I'm putting this girl through nursing school with help from, from my earnings as well as friends. So she will be passing out. So if I win a lottery, then definitely 10 more, 10 families. It's like 10 families will be certainly, you know, elevated, or they will, in Japan, there is a proverb which says, which I really, really believe in. It says that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So this is something which I really believe in. So in fact, I missed my corporate salary for exactly this. That, I would have loved to educate children. I mean, more on the livelihood front, give them vocational training, from very poor families. That's something which I've always done it. When I was working also, I used to do it.
Yes, Tina. Thank you, ma'am. And the way you said, use this word, elevate
Yes.
the families, the poverty-stricken families, and you'll really make a difference in their lives. Wonderful, dear. Dear ma'am, now it is sports and games. How did you feel when India lost the match to Australia?
I'm not a cricket fan. I stopped watching cricket in the days when, remember there was that cricket scam, that betting scam and all that happened. So I was very
Yes,
disappointed and never really, um, I'm not much of a cricket fan. But yeah, okay, TK, we could have won, should have won. That was there. But I did not go into any depressed state because I'm not an avid follower of the game.
Yes, dear. But fine, I agree with you and I accept your answer. But did you feel sad that, oh, India didn't win the match?
You see, when it's a game, there's going to be win and loss, and you can't keep winning all the time. So you're a fool if you think you can win all the time. It's good to have, but it doesn't mean that you may have it. Good to have, of course. Would have loved to,
Yes,
but
dear.
yeah.
I love the way you put your answer so well. You're very level-headed and you have a lot
Yes,
of
I am.
wisdom.
I
Yeah,
am.
I love
People
that.
say I am.
Now
Yeah.
you get up people very emotional, like, oh, India did not lose. I mean,
Mm.
did not win and it
Mm.
lost the match. All the matches it won, and towards the end, it lost. And so, yes. So I like people who are level-headed. You know where you want to go. You know what you want. You have a lot of clarity. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, now we come down to change. What type of a change you would like to focus your energies and bring about in the world?
Oh, Andrea, I'm exactly where I want to be in the world. Okay. My work involves bringing change in people's lives, bringing positive change in people's lives. At school, I work with children, I work with their parents. I mean, who don't know how to. Most of the parents, they get very upset when when teenagers start rebelling and, not listening to them, etc. Parents are very confused, children are confused. So I love I love the fact that I am able to help them navigate, troubled times, in a better way with less harm to everybody. There are children who self-harm. There are children who want to kill themselves. Every other day we see a suicide note, and it's become. I mean, it's a very very you know how should I say, very upsetting to see this kind of trend. And um, me being in mental health, working towards mental health, and to remove the stigma. Like, for example, a great part of our work is to remove the stigma that surrounds suicide, to remove the stigma that surrounds mental illness. So these are the areas where I would definitely make a change. Getting people to talk about it. Earlier, people never spoke. Do you know, when we first started working with schools and colleges, or even training programs, they would say, please do not use the word suicide. So you are doing a suicide prevention training without using the word suicide. Now people actually, and they would say, no, 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 we don't want, our children don't take their lives. We do not want, um, we don't want you to put ideas in their head and things like that. Now, thankfully, the awareness has grown, and we do have schools and colleges reaching out to do workshops. Paramilitary forces, the police, the military, the paramilitary CISF, etc. We do workshops with them to kind of help them understand this a lot better.
Yes, dear ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Dear ma'am, are there any plans for retirement? Or would you like to continue the same passion till the last breath?
See, when I said goodbye to my corporate career, that was at a very young age, about 15 years ago. So at that time, that was a kind of a retirement, but I needed to find my passion. I have found my calling. I find my batchmates, my friends, people who are maybe nearing retirement, maybe another couple of few years to go for retirement. All of them are wondering what are they going to do with themselves, because 60 is no age to retire. You're still, mentally sharp, physically fit, and they say 60 is the new 40. So what is retirement? I don't know. One of our volunteers, she's past 75 and she's doing such a fabulous job. So as long as I think I can make a difference, or I'm being useful to other people, there is no retirement. There is nothing called retirement. You still do something else. Retirement is not key, you just go and lie down. No, that's terrible. You should be able to use the intelligence and the ability that you are endowed with. It doesn't matter what you do with it. You may not earn money, but there are so many other things to do.
Yes, dear.
Follow passion follow your passions.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. In fact, I've seen many of them who are sharing their time, their knowledge and expertise, educating the younger generation, volunteering. As you said, if not money, they can just give their resources which they've learned, be a resource person, a visiting faculty, a motivator. So all of you out there who are in that zone of retirement or thinking what next after retirement, you could really give a lot to the society. They could contribute to uplifting the youth of the society in the right way through their experiences that they've had.
True,
Yes,
true.
dear?
What I'm doing now is a part of my retirement plan.
Wow, that's really nice. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, best friends, are they a source of inspiration, a source of joy to your life? And if yes, would you like to mention a few of them today on this platform? That yes, they have stood with me through thick and thin.
Yes, of course. It is like, for me, my women friends or my friends have been my source of confidence. They're the ones who've given me confidence, who've given me strength. At times when we all have self-doubts that, is this the way to go? Is this what I should do? Or whatever it is. So it is your friends which help you believe in yourself. And I don't believe in having too many friends. I have a handful of them with whom I'm close. And my friend Suksham Singh, who is the director of Lifeline Foundation, is one such person. She has stood by me through thick and thin, and she's always, always encouraged me in no matter what I did. My husband, I mean, when we look at friends, we don't really think of family. My husband has been my biggest, biggest source of encouragement. And what I always tell him, that whatever I am and whatever I'm not is only because of you. So he always says that, why do you need to add the not to it? But yes, he has been a huge support and the wind beneath my wings, I like to call him. So he's been amazing. And then I have Dr. Indrani Lodh, who's a very close family, personal friend. Then there are so many others. I have Shoma Saxena, I have Bijoy Chakravarti, I have Amit Sinha, and I have Hiren, lots of them, quite a few of them.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing all of those names, ma'am, with us today. Dear friends, we spread love across our platform. Over to you. Sharing the space with us is Molly Thambi. She shares your names here today with us, and we are happy that you are in her life. And she spreads her love and sends her love across the world. She spreads her wings, which says, yes, I am there across the globe, not only in India. I would love you, ma'am, to share your thoughts and views and your expertise across the world, where children could, yes, understand the meaning of life and say, yes, I'm born for a purpose and I shouldn't end this life. It's not only children, it could be everybody. So that's really nice. And you have lovely friends, all of them you've mentioned, who've been a part of your journey. And the way you said this, my husband is the wind
Yes.
beneath my wings.
Yes.
And so that's what made me kept saying all of that. So nice.
Yes.
And that's really nice. You're blessed.
Yes, yes.
And the way you mentioned the not, and then again you paused for a minute.
Yes.
Yes. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
To have friends in life is really a blessing, and to have the right kind of friends is the greatest blessing. Yes, dear ma'am, we come back to you. What brings a smile to your face?
Puppies.
Wow.
Puppies, dogs, little babies, flowers, anything. Anybody who smiles at me brings a smile to my face.
Awesome. Puppies, immediately just puppies and babies and flowers, and really, that's really very cute when you said that. Yes, dear. That's the beauty of life, to find love, to find happiness in just the simple things that we see across the world every day. Dear ma'am, what about your weaknesses? Would you like to share?
I've never been able to lose weight. That is my, if you were to ask me, that is that's one thing. Somebody asked me the other day, in fact, my friends often tease me, is there anything that Molly Thambi cannot do? Because as per them, I can do everything. So I thought for a bit, and I said, I can't lose weight. So everyone's very happy. At least there's one thing that you can't do. So that is what it is.
Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, from where do you derive the strength to continue this beautiful journey? Like, you might have faced a lot of ups and downs. We all do. And yes,
Yes.
we need that strength. We need that push. From where do you get that strength?
You know, to expect that there won't be negatives in your life, right? That's being foolish. There are going to be negatives. There have been negatives in my life. I've struggled. You know, when I was studying and etc., it was very, very tough. It's not been easy. I did my, you know, my psychology masters when I was 55. So, you know, I've sat and written examinations with 25-year-olds with my white hair and everything else. So it's not easy. There are so many negatives or negative events, but I have always believed that one needs to cultivate the resilience to be able to bounce back from negative events. And in fact, I mean, you know, this is something which I'm very, again, very passionate about helping. I run, in fact, I do a workshop called Emotional First Aid. So a part of that is, you know, trying to develop resilience. So resilience is nothing but the ability, but your ability to bounce back from negative events in your life. So I divide negative events into two parts. One which I can control and one which I cannot control. What I can control, I do something about it. What I cannot control, I leave it to God and pray. Pray for strength. I don't tell God that please take this away from my life. I just pray for strength.
Very nice. And
So
even I
that's
do
how I
the
manage.
same. Yes. In fact, all of us should do that, you know. Give us the strength to face all the difficulties.
Yes.
That's the best way, the best medicine, I guess. The best prayer. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, is there anything that scares you? Yes, dear.
I
Audible?
don't, I haven't, yes, you are audible.
Yes.
Andrea, I have never really thought of what scares me. Um, of course, I'm sure, of course, I do get scared. I mean, it's not that I don't get scared. When I drive, I'm scared of every car that's coming at me. You know, I'm always afraid that someone's going to come and scratch my car or somebody's going to come and whatever, get in front and things like that. But otherwise, no, I'm very strong. I'm a very spiritual person. So, you know, I kind of, um, I really have not thought of fear, but this is some question. I'm sure I will be thinking about it as to what brings fear. Yes, of course, my family. You know, I mean, the safety of my family, the safety of my you know, immediate family, of my friends, of you know, something happening to them, ill health, you know, the usual stuff. But there's no, I'm not able to actually place any big fear.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. Dear ma'am, do you ever get angry? And if so, when?
I am not an angry person as a rule, but once in a rare while, I can feel the anger coming, and I know that I am getting angry, and I tell whoever it is. Usually, of course, uh, you know, um, I normally tell, if it's my husband, I will tell him that, look, I'm getting angry, please do not speak to me. So I'm able to go to one side and cool down. But irritated, yes, with little things sometimes, but angry very rarely. But when I do, then it's very bad. Then I can murder somebody. It's that bad. Very, very rarely. Very, very, very rarely. But it's bad. Then it is bad. But otherwise, I'm not an angry person.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing. We would request you now to share a message for all of us from your experience and from the knowledge that you've gained all these years. One lovely message for all of us.
Oh, I should have thought about this earlier. Yes, there is something which I would like to share is that every single person goes through negative events. They go through tough times. And at that point of time, please do not think that you're alone. Please find a safe space to talk to somebody, to share your troubles, to share your pain with somebody. just the fact that or be there to listen to somebody who's in pain. Because by listening, by being there for somebody, you can actually save lives. That's what we do at Lifeline. We listen and we save lives. So it's very, very important to be able to share, to talk. Like they say, talking helps. So please look for emotional support among your friends and family, or somebody safe with whom you can share. And believe me, you will be able to handle the pain in your life much better, and you won't feel so alone. That is what I would like to say.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that. Thank you so much. Ma'am, till date, what is the proudest accomplishment you feel? Yes, I've done something very good and this makes me feel wow. It makes me feel great. I've accomplished this. Among all the accomplishments, the best one.
I think when I became a psychologist.
Wow. Perfect.
The rest was all matter of fact in terms of, the jobs that you get and the qualifications. Though I must tell you, I did all my studies after I got married. I got married when I was in my second year of graduation. So I did I finished my graduation, then I had my daughter, and then I went back to college. I did my master's in economics. Then I came back and I started working. And then I realized that I wanted MBA. So then I went and did my MBA, and so on and so forth. And the last two of my degrees was, of course, done in my 50s. So I think that would be the proudest, because this is something I never expected from myself. It was never there in my plan, so called. So this is a bonus.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing. And that has really brought out the best out of you. I guess like this is what you were made for, created for, to be a source of inspiration to many people out there who really want to live, but at the same time want to end their lives. But yes, if somebody says, no, your life is worth living, counsel them at the right time, to be there for them at the right time. Yes. So you're an angel in disguise, an angel without wings, as I earlier mentioned. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, are you a pet mom too? Do you love pets?
Yes, I do.
Do you have one at home?
I did have one. And after we lost Snoopy, that was our dog, I did not get another one because, it is limiting in many ways. And I had old parents with me. So it was not possible to get it. I wouldn't have been able to enjoy another pet. So I don't have a pet right now. But all the complex where we live, all the other pets are also my pets. So I go down to play with them.
How nice.
Yes. A friend says that I know more dogs than people in my complex.
Wow, that's really nice. Yeah. Dear ma'am, I have a cup in my hand. How would you look at this cup? Is it half full or half empty?
It's yet to be full, I would say.
Yes, that's really nice. Yet to be full. Thank you, dear. Now we come to languages. How many languages are you conversant in?
1, 2, 3, 4. English, Hindi, my Bengali is very good, Malayalam. So 4 languages I speak very, very fluently. I can understand a little bit of the other languages.
Yes, dear. There's a small request. Would you oblige to sing a song for us in any one of these languages? A big no?
No, I can't sing. I don't have a right brain. I have no singing abilities.
Would you want to give it a try? Give it a try. 2 lines?
No way. Singing and dancing are 2 things. Yeah, now I got it. Singing and dancing are 2 things I cannot do.
Okay, dear, accepted. Yes. Would you like to share a proverb or a quotation in place of the song? Or, yeah.
When life gives you limes, make lemonade.
Perfect. Thank you. And that's fair enough. Dear ma'am, are you a great listener or a speaker? Where do you find your strength?
I'm a listener.
Very true. Because I've seen that through this journey. Like you wait, you pause, and when the other person has finished, then you take over. That's really nice. And all
My
great
job,
listeners,
my
pardon?
job involves, my work involves listening.
Yes. The mark of a great psychologist, a great counselor, a great stress management specialist, the first thing is a great listener, non-judgmental, confidential, and all of that. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, if the Almighty or the universe, the Almighty or the universe, we could take it in either ways, if they were to offer you a superpower, what superpower would you select? They say, yes, Molly, you come and select a superpower. We are gifting superpowers to everyone. What would your pick be? What would you select?
I've been involved, I've been influenced a lot by Mother Teresa. So I would actually pick, if there was a superpower, I would really want, the power to heal, the power to heal others. That is what I would really love.
Thank you, ma'am. That's a nice way to heal the world and to heal people. And that speaks volumes of your personality when you selected this beauty. It just came out instinctively, like, I know, naturally. Yes, to heal. Dear ma'am, let's talk about toxic situations, red flags. Many people cannot identify that they are in a toxic situation or this is a red flag in their life. And there are many of the sisters and brothers out there suffering across the world. I would like you to create awareness and make us understand, yeah, this is a red flag in your life, stay safe. Or this is a toxic situation in your life, you need to back off.
You know, Andrea, every person's perception of their situation is completely different from what another person perceives. So I may think that so and so is in a toxic situation, but that person may not think so. Until that person feels that they cannot go on anymore. Until that happens, no matter what I say, it's not going to make any difference. It's again what we rationalize. So when we say red flags, etc., this is like the once bitten, twice shy kind of a situation, where this happens a lot in relationship counseling, where one bad relationship, you do the same thing again. So I do get my clients or my patients who come to me saying that I'm making the same mistakes again and again. So in those cases, we are able to sensitize them as to, you know, what is it that they're looking for, and why they fall into those so-called traps, or whatever. So that's as far as relationships are concerned. Now I may think something is toxic in your life, but if you don't think it's toxic enough and that you are able to tolerate it, then who am I to tell you that that's toxic and you should get out, unless I'm able to offer you a better solution. We see this in a lot of marriages. We see this in a lot of marriages where women are in toxic relationships, but they continue to be there because they do not have a better alternative. They are aware of it, but they're just making do or making the most of a bad situation. Yes, if they want to get out, if they want help, then, definitely we will need to reach out and help them, etc. But defining red flags for another person would be a little presumptuous.
Yes, dear. Accepted, ma'am. I accept your opinion, I accept your thoughts and views on that. That's really very true to a certain extent. It's very true. The way we perceive things, to me, it may be toxic. To them, it may not be. And maybe they don't have another outlet, or maybe they don't have another choice. So they continue to stay and suffer in that particular situation or in the toxic zone they are in. So, dear friends, if you feel you're in a toxic situation out there, it's time to seek help, take the right kind of help, and jump out of it. Don't waste your life. Life is precious. No emotional abuse, no financial abuse, and of course, no physical abuse as well. No psychological abuse, etc. No abuse at all. And don't suffer in silence. That's what I would love to say. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, if you were given a chance to relive somebody's life, whose life you would love to relive?
No, I think my own. I've never really thought, I've never envied somebody else's life. I have never thought, I wish I was like that. At most, maybe I would have thought, I wish I was 20 kilos lighter. That's just about it. But otherwise, in terms of life, no, I do not have anybody like that.
Yes, dear. In case if this, we put it like a task, that we give you a time machine, at the click of a button, you go into the past era, and the task is to relive somebody's life. You have to select somebody's life over there and relive it and come back. So whose life would you love to relive?
Mother Teresa?
Perfect. Yes, dear. Ma'am, the next 50 years, what type of changes could be there, according to you?
Changes where, Andrea?
In any field, in any zone, what do you think could be the changes that could impact the world in the next 50 years?
Well, it's anybody's guess. We only have to look at science fiction to know where the world is going. And no matter what the change, we as human beings need to be open to change, need to be able to handle the change that comes. Like they say, the only constant is change. So there will, of course, there will be changes in, in the way technology, the way we perceive relationships, the way we perceive countries, the way we perceive government. There would be changes in every which way. Imagine 30 years ago when I started my career, 32 years ago, it was completely different. The computers had just come in. Internet came in after I had started working. I remember when computers first came, I used to think, oh my God, if I press the wrong key, I'm going to get a shock or something like that. And those were the days when there was no windows. We had only black and white monitors and so on and so forth. And it was so fascinating when Windows came and we all got color monitors. My, my eyesight really became bad because we were on the screen all the time. So the same way, yes, the world is going to a lazy generation, to a lazy phase, because we've got so much of overconsumption, too much of dopamine. That is bound to happen. We need to be able to pull ourselves back from there.
Yes, dear.
So,
thank you for sharing.
every which way. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Ma'am, how would you look at this question or these two words, constructive criticism? How should one take it?
If you're getting some kind of criticism, you should be happy, because most of the people will say things behind your back. Okay, in a working environment or in a corporate environment, or nobody will tell you things straight to your face. You don't get feedback properly, or even if you get feedback, it is wrapped around in sugar coated, etc. So you really don't, you really don't know how much of it is true. So if you're getting criticism or constructive criticism, it should be used as a way of improving oneself, not as something to pull you down. Because you can actually lose confidence with criticism if you do not learn to take criticism properly or use it to improve yourself.
Very well answered. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dear ma'am, do you forgive others easily? Yes or no?
I forgive, but I don't forget.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself with regard to forgiving others?
I think 8, 9.
Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, we've come to an end to the main round of the interview. We have a small segment called as the rapid fire round. With your permission, I will take another 5 to 10 minutes.
Sure.
Thank you, dear. Dear friends, it's now the rapid fire round where we get to know about the likes and dislikes of our special celebrity and guest. She is Miss Molly Thambi, a beautiful person with a lot of wisdom to share, a very practical person. All that I've understood through this interview, a down-to-earth, a very practical person. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, over to you. In this segment, it's like a choice. You have to make answer in 1 word, 2 words, or a sentence maximum. Yes, dear.
Okay.
Is it
All
tea
right.
or coffee? Yeah. Sorry. Yes, dear.
Tea.
Tea. The favorite day in the week?
Monday.
Your favorite number?
2.
Chocolates, cakes, or ice creams?
Chocolates.
Favorite season?
Winter.
Favorite mode of transport?
Driving myself.
How nice. City, town, or a village?
Village.
When you help others, do you expect anything in return? Yes, no.
Never. No.
Idea of a perfect day or a beautiful day in one word?
In one word. Warm winter day or a sunny winter day.
Is Miss Molly a good cook?
Yes.
Your favorite cuisine, favorite recipe?
I make a very good appam and chicken curry.
The name of your favorite teacher or sir when you were in school?
In school was Sister Yolande, and in college was a teacher called Miss Maslamani, Leela Maslamani. She influenced me a lot.
An early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Salty, sweet, spicy, or sour food?
Spicy food.
Life is about money, happiness, or both?
Both.
You consider yourself to be an introvert, an extrovert, or an ambivert?
Ambivert.
When you're all alone in your room and nobody's with you, no gadget as well, just a chair, of course, the door and a big window, nothing else. Some happy sunshine into your room. You're connected to your thoughts. Where do your thoughts take you? Past, present, or future?
My thoughts normally take me on a long walk, along a way, a path that one of my favorite way, maybe a walking route, or on a beach for that matter. So if I'm just sitting by myself, then that is where it goes. A walk on the beach.
Beach. A walk on the beach. So just you sit down there and you just have that vision or maybe the mental picture you create, yes. I mean, are you alone on the beach or are there people around you? Do you want to spend
alone? No. Alone.
Aren't you scared? Aren't you scared?
No.
Because, I just visualize that for a moment, like you are alone on the beach. So I was like, it would be quite scary to be alone.
No, not at all. See, alone does not mean lonely, Andrea. Being comfortable with yourself is a very essential skill, especially as you grow older. Like I do not have the word boredom in my dictionary. Okay, I do not know what it is to get bored because there's always something to do or something to whatever. So being alone does not mean you are lonely. Right. And I quite like solitude. I like my time to myself. I like my me time. I wake up early in the morning and I kind of spend time with myself. So
beautiful. Thank you for explaining that. The lonely and being alone, solitude, all of that. Thank you, dear. Are you a great thinker, a great doer, or both?
Doer.
Experiential learning or book learning, theoretical learning?
Experiential, of course.
Fresh fruits or salads, fried food?
Fruit, fresh fruit.
Home cooked food or food ordered from out?
Always home cooked food.
So I can't ask you this. I wouldn't want to ask you because if it is beach or forest, what would you select? The beach, of course, right?
Yes, I think so, beach. Even forest is okay with me. I mean, I don't have a problem about it. I mean, I'm okay with both.
On a table, a beautiful book. Pardon?
Yeah, go on. Sorry. No.
You please go on, ma'am. I interrupted you first. You could go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, dear. We'll give that up and we'll come back. Yes, dear. On a table, if there's a beautiful book and a great music system, what would you pick first? Always the book. Always the book. Yes. You love to give or receive gifts?
I wouldn't qualify myself as a great giver of gifts See, gifts could be in terms of things, could be in terms of your time, could be in terms of your energy, could be in terms of acts of love, acts of service, etc. So I'm not very good at picking gifts and giving gifts. But when I do, then yes, it's something which is very special to the person. So receiving gifts, no, not really. I think better to give gifts. I like giving gifts or doing stuff for people in the form of gifts.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for your time. You've given us a good gift today by spending time with us. And one last gift we want from you is 3 magical words. We have the 3 magical words called as please, sorry, and thank you. Apart from those 3, we'd love you to gift us with 3 special magical words which could empower us and where we could focus our attention and build a beautiful life. Any 3 words?
Listen, care, and be there.
Wonderful. Listen, care, and be there. That's really nice. So that sums up to all of what you've been sharing. A great listener, to care for people and to be there for people. This speaks volumes of your present job that you are into now as a psychologist, as a stress management specialist. When you try to go deep into those 3 words and understand what you've been sharing all through this journey, this past 1 hour, 1.5 hours, we get to know that, yes, this person has been very genuine, sharing everything and creating a beautiful space for us on the International Fab Talks, and of course, for all of you too. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being a part of our journey. Looking forward to many more interactions with you. And I love the zeal that you have to give out the best and not to just sit down and waste your time. There is no retirement, and that's a beautiful journey that you have to continue and share life with others.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for all those nice questions. In fact, I have a couple of questions which I should note down as soon as I log off so that it gives me food for thought. So thank you very much for all those interesting questions. I don't think anybody's asked me all these questions in a long, long, long time, at least not together.
Yes, dear.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And God bless you. Stay connected. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Dear friends, with this, we come to an end to the International Fab Talks. Thank you for being with us. Stay safe and stay blessed and stay connected too.